right, we're gonna start filling this board with names because some of you are done eating. So while we're finishing up and hanging out, we're gonna make this extra fun. You're gonna have to come up here and say your name. So let's start with these guys that already put their names up here. You guys can start. Come on up here. Robert, Brady, Tanner, Travis. Come on up. You can come as a group. Where'd they go? We're trying to associate names, faces, and at what point you joined. Up the ramp, come on. So, your name and what job you started on?
Anthony Acosta. Hey, how you doing? Hi. Anthony Acosta. I'm gonna be one of the, it should be Target.
Not on there. No, you started. You started.
No, that wasn't Target.
That's next year.
No, no, here. Should be.
You started here.
Yeah, right here. No, I was at Target before that. Bloomington was my first job. Bloomington Target. Yeah, it was October 2018.
Love it.
Sweet.
Name. Write your name and the project. Not the date.
You already got it.
Oh, we come Sargento when I worked for you the first time?
We are, yeah.
All right.
Erase the word.
Where's that on the board?
Erase the word date and write
What's that?
project.
Oh, I got to turn around. Tim Jacobson. I started with Carl at Syngenta. What year was it?
27, 16, somewhere in there.
16, we call it 15? Yeah.
You bet.
I'm Robert O'Connell. I started at Corcoran 2018 and then went to Winstead, Frontenac, and then on to Tacoma sites.
Nice.
Travis Jacobson. I think we started on the Corcoran site as an electrician. I started here. Yeah, I started here last March.
Yeah, my name's Tanner. It's basically the same as Travis. Yeah, we are brothers. Yeah, we started at the Winstead project and moved on to Frontenac from there, and so on.
One way up, one way don't. You'll hurt yourself.
Yeah, don't jump.
Don't jump.
Hey, this looks like a good table right here. Shane, bring your table. He says, what do I say?
You just saw 5 guys do it.
No, I just walked in. John Middendorff.
And then point over here, John. Where'd you start?
I started right here. Oh, the year.
15.
Targets, yeah. Well, they're not on here.
Target 18. I drew it on the bottom.
Oh, there it is. Right there.
Forget about those.
4 megawatts on 5 Target stores.
There you go. That's my. Give me mine today.
David Eaton. Started at Egg Partners in Goodhue at the office in 2015. So, right in here.
Partner's office right there.
Yep, right here.
Andy Penning, started with Mendota. Andy Penning started with ADM Mendota with VAA and then transitioned to Knobelsdorff. I'm Connor Murphy. I started doing some runaround stuff with Dawson for 2 weeks, and then I quickly got onto the USG job in January of this year.
Tyler Everson. I started in March of 2016, mainly working under Mitch Peters. So mainly Arden Mills, Lake City. I think so. I was at Glencoe for a weekend, but it's mainly working for Mitch P. Mill Mix.
You can write your name over here, Tyler. What's it called, blue?
Kind of holds your mouth. Like that.
Like an ice cream cone.
Yeah. Mitch Ortson, believe it was 2018, under Mitch P. at Arden Mills, and still staying strong in Lake City today. So, hey.
I think I started in February of 2016. I'm Nick Dodson.
Put it closer to your mouth.
Oh, okay.
It's stuck in your beard.
So I'm Nick Dodson. I started in February of 2016.
Where?
Howard Lake.
Woo! Yeah!
Forsman Farms, Howard Lake. You're green. McCormick Trail.
Matt Clark. I started, I think, in 2014 at Lando Lakes. Maintenance shop.
Jason Ward, started in 2017, and I was always at Parthenholm, I guess.
Was it with Clark?
Yeah.
Which job did he mess up first? The linear line. Did that start on fire?
So you're purple.
I'm Brad Payne. I started in 2017 at ADM Effingham.
Okay, so you're blue.
Jordan.
I'm Jordan Humphreys. I started in 2017 on the Aurora projects.
The Aurora projects. He was one of those. Good memories. Okay, so you're all right.
My name is Jonathan Smith. I started in Nautilus August 15, 2019.
Right there.
North Branch. Northfield.
Nick Selesky, I started just before John did, August 5th with all four of those actually, so it's been fun.
So Nick, we missed Nick this morning when we called people up because Brandon looked right over the top of him. So Nick is another one of our CMs that's out in the field. Started with us not knowing anything about solar, just like the rest of us. And he's learning but knows how people work and how to run guys, and he fits right in. So thanks, Nick.
Hey, I'm Whitney. I'm with Nautilus. I was at Northfield and Walcott. I started October 3rd this year.
I'm Cheryl Pan. I started working 8 of 18 at Frontenac with Drew.
Earlier, I heard Cheryl say she's done a lot of things she never thought she could do before, right?
I can get out of a ditch even.
She knew she could get in a ditch. She never knew she could get out of a ditch.
I've been in ditches never thought I could get out. Absolutely.
Mike Pan started Nautilus at Winstead.
Yeah, anywhere. You can fill in this row, next row.
Hey, I'm Matt Bradley. Been here about a year and a half, and I think I started in the office and then ended up going down to Mendota. So.
Hello, I'm Brady Bossart. My first job was at Ag Partners in Goodhue with Mitch Anderson.
My name's James Flores, and I started off in July 29th over in Walcott.
My name is Luis Diaz, and I started this year at Walcott.
Walcott?
Walcott.
Hey, I'm Dan Bach. Started at CE Power, now I'm at Prospect. Since August.
What do you do, Dan?
What?
Nothing. Dan, what do you do? Are you an electrician?
Oh, I'm a journeyman that does controls.
That's something. CE Power, but where did you go next? What name? Well, CE Power actually started from Eaton. Yeah, but that's where it started. So Eaton was here, so you're blue. Blue.
My name's Dustin. I started on a solar site down in Mapleton. I believe it was M&W.
M&W, yep, 2017, right there. M&W, Mapleton. Then you went where? You went to North Dakota, and you went to Marshall for a while? No?
My name is Matthew Bush. This is my second stint with Carl. So the first time was in Mayer, Minnesota with Joe Lynn.
Red. Really should have done solar green. I don't know how we ended on red last night, Brandon, but we were out of colors.
For those of you that don't know me, I'm Drew. I actually started out in the office. I think I annoyed Shane enough after the first couple weeks just asking to get out in the field. Then I went to Semstone with Dave Eaton. But then after that, I started on the solar side at Winstead doing underground.
Solar. So yeah, Drew came to the shop, or came to work for us having, again, no experience in anything that we do, which just kind of goes to show that we really do try and hire based off just people culture, right? Do they fit? And Drew fit, so we hired him. We think he still fits, but he's learned a lot over the last couple years. We think? Yeah, we think. We'll see how you do.
I'm Isaiah Miller. I've been employed since the fall of 2016. I did a brief stint with solar in Hastings, and then I got moved to Forsman Farms and Howard Lake, and I've been on industrial since.
I am Joe Cotta. I started with my man Thaddeus in Glencoe in 10/21/2015.
Joe, do you know where your keys and your phone are at?
I imagine they're here somewhere.
I hear you spend a lot of time looking for those.
I do.
So if anybody finds Joe's keys, give them to him.
I'm Ben Damagala. Started in June in Winona. ADM, I guess.
ADM Winona? The barge.
Yeah.
Okay, yep, you're blue.
Joe Street, McCormick.
Myron Solar, Waterville, 2017, like October.
So I went to a code class with Myron 15 years ago.
13.
13.
Yeah,
13.
my son was born, and I looked over. He was there, and he was young. And you're supposed to go to 10 classes. I think you went to what, 7?
I think I went to all of them.
No, you didn't. Not on your pre-master.
But that was the start of John's Sunday classes. So Brandon and I both went there when John was doing the classes in his garage. So before he built his nice house, he had this old crappy garage where there was so much stuff in there you could hardly get in the room. And it was so cold in there, your feet would freeze in the wintertime. And he still charged you $500 for it. So we passed, yes.
Yeah.
First try.
Matt Harris. I started RTS, Spectro, and then now I work at Henkel in Cannon Falls.
I'm Dan
RTS,
Steinbruckner. I started the summer 2018 at Cary and went to my very first shutdown right after that with Brian Gray at Pine Island, up Land O'Lakes.
Peyton Fick. I started in June of 2017 and started at Egg Partners, Pine Island.
I'm Josh Atkinson. I started in 2018. I rode around with Mitch Anderson for a while, but our first big project was at Egg Partners in Wanamingo.
Who'd you ride around with for a while? Oh, Mitch.
Ryan Dirks, and my first project was probably USG. I started 2017, I think, but I was in the shop.
So you started washing vans and mowing lawn? It's a good career path if everybody knows Isaiah.
Mitch Anderson. I started in July of 2012. Went with Carl up to ADM St. Cloud. Came back and worked with Brandon at All American Co-op, and now work with Shane and Mitch. Doing everything.
You told part of that story last night, though. Tell that again. Your first day, how did that go? You came for an interview? No, or you called?
Well, yeah. I finally got a hold of you. Friday night, came here, interview. Saturday morning, we left at like 4 a.m. for a weekend, 3-4 days or something.
What
right
time?
Before the 4th of July.
What time at night did I tell you we were going to St. Cloud?
Probably like 9 o'clock.
And what did you say? You cut all the wires too short? And
we were doing Hasmon. And obviously, never touched it or seen it in my life. And then cut the wire too short. So then we made an adjustment and added an extra field interconnect box, and life was good.
I'm sure my direction on what you were supposed to do was spot on, and you just didn't listen.
Absolutely. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Josh Lindell. I started October 2018. Started on the Frontenac solar site. Now I'm working with Matt Clark in Lake City.
Does Matt talk a lot during the day?
Adrian Chavez, started on the residential crew and then went to Ardent Mills in 2017, June 26.
What was the first job site you worked on?
Commercial or?
First job.
It was residential. Residential.
What was their name?
I don't know.
Nathan, Richard, anybody remember?
It was with Richard.
Richard?
The person that owns Central Livestock.
Okay, Central Livestock, we'll go with that. Or just put Richard, because that's memorable.
Nathan Preeb, June 2018, and HHT for the first couple weeks. Now I have to work with Nick.
Have to
at
work
DCI and PMP.
Again, honored to work with Nick was the word you were looking for.
Adam Ringeisen. I started on solar in 2017 in Red Wing. Now I do industrial, commercial. Get shipped all over the place. It's a fun time.
HHT is purple.
I'm Matt Lexvold. I've been Brandon's bitch since 2001. And that's basically what I do.
Yeah, I don't know what color that is, but maybe you should use 2 markers to write that. Again, he's been honored to be Brandon's bitch since 2009.
Craig Brewer, I did a short stint in 2016 with Thad, some solar stuff, and I just kind of come and go on part-time, casual. Otherwise, I've helped Brandon at Red Wing Grain after that.
So Craig was one of the lucky ones to come help us on the Aurora solar projects, where they decide that, oh, we need 40 people to work this weekend to chase some mythical ghost out in the field because the inverter company was trying to push off the problems they were having with their inverters onto field wiring. Italian guys were there, yep, telling us everything we did was wrong, and it was fun.
Grady Lohman. I started May of...
Put the mic closer.
May of 19 for Nautilus Northfield.
I'm Troy Upsall. I started in 2018, February at ADM under Tim Bennett.
ADM Red Wing working for Tim Bennett.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting.
Again, Troy came to us.
I'm at.
Never had done any electrical work in his life. He was a farmer.
Yeah, and I got there and walked around, looked at everything, and he says, "Go get your tools." So I said, "I didn't bring any tools." And he looked at me. He says, "You didn't bring any tools?" I said, "No, I'm just a dumb farmer." I said. He was gonna get mad, and I said, I said, "I'll go home." I said, "I don't have to be here if you don't want me to." And he says, No, stay here." He said, "Stay here." He said, I'll put you to work. So, thanks, Tim.
And that's the nicest thing Tim's ever said to anyone. You're blue, ADM Red Wing. So anyway.
Sawyer Jackson started May of 2019 at Northfield for Nautilus.
Hand it to Teddy.
So I was just talking to Thaddeus. I think the first job that Ted, Dad's dad.
Daddius also is his name.
Daddius. The first job I actually worked on was here. He did. Was building those offices, the containers, turn those into offices.
So right out in front of the shop, we had, if anybody's been on our Mendota or Quincy, they go to Effingham too, Effingham site. We took some 40-foot connexes, built offices inside of them and tool storage, and Ted used his craftsmanship to build those.
But the actual job that I worked on, Carl says, "Here's a 400 amp service, go put it in." At Viafield,
Closing.
Randalia.
And it turned on.
It turned on. It was all good.
See, you learned.
You know, I had to move the pole a little bit, the power pole. Those guys weren't happy with me at all, but it's still running. So I don't know where it was at.
Viafield is a purple
3
path.
years.
Land O'Lakes Business Development, Viafield, right there. Purple.
So, yep. Purple.
Richard. Hey, Richard Gents right here. Just had my 10-year anniversary with Carl. First job I worked with BL up and down 1,000 times, as we talked about the other day. Long story short, are you sure you don't need anything else? No, I'm good. Oh, wait, Richard, I need one more wire nut. Are you sure you don't need two? Get up there. You know what, Richard? I need one of those yellow fork thing. Where's he at? I know, because I've got you figured out, dude. So yeah, first job was at Land O'Lakes 10 years ago, so yeah.
So Richard came to us, was one of the first employees after Shane, Brandon, and myself.
Yep.
Him and Derek were roughly about the same time, maybe a year in between, but Richard had worked for a pig farmer who was also an electrician and hadn't done a lot of the things that we had done, so came to us knowing electrical work, but mainly residential, commercial, and we threw him right into Land O'Lakes into a food processing plant, and he's like, what do you want me to do? I don't know how to do any of this stuff. And he always wore his tools, and he had a big tool pouch, and there was a lot of tools in those a ton of tools, and he always had a hammer on him. We'd always give him a hard time. I'm like, what are you gonna do with that hammer? We don't need a hammer inside here. But he carried the hammer for 3 years, at least.
Where's your hammer at right now? I got 2 of them in my truck.
But Richard is just a compassionate, caring, will bend over backwards, do anything for you, any time of the day, night, and he does that for the customers too. So he's a phenomenal member of this team. He's been here a long time, and thank you for that.
Do you remember what the biggest, or what was your biggest concern when you hired me?
I don't know. I don't remember. That you were old?
You remember?
I don't.
Your biggest concern was like, can you take orders from young people? And I said, I don't have a problem with that. But basically, the thing is, we got to get the job done. I don't care if the person is younger than me, I'm old, we work together as a team. You remember that?
I don't, but we've worked together as a team for a long time. We've done well. No concern anymore, buddy. They got my name up here.
Nice. I'm Thaddeus. You've met me. I started working for Brandon and Hope. On my first day, I got a flat tire in Rochester. And so my second day was August 2nd. And then I took the Appleton Trail up to the blue, and then now I'm back on the black. So, yeah, that's my path across there. August 1st, 2014. So is it black or is it blue? What would you say? I could write with both, you're right.
Go with both.
All right, I'm Melanie, and I started in May of 2014. So that would be the RTS and Fall River was all going on when that. But I'm in the office, so.
Use blue. Blue's a good color. Or orange. Orange doesn't match anybody. You could use orange.
I'm Brooke. I started summer of 2018 in the Goodhue office.
What'd you do, Brooke?
I was the intern. I did a lot of filing.
What's your most memorable experience about working or interning for us this past year?
Flying to Illinois.
Flying to Illinois. We took Brooke to Mendota so she could see it.
Yeah, it was fun.
Hi, I'm Krista. I started in March of 2014.
What'd you do when you started, Krista?
I started filing. So at that time we were up in the 2.5 floor, and I filed.
What we talked about the other day, how many offices have you had in the last 5 years?
Yes, I've had 4 desks here at Knobelsdorff.
Orange. Big D.
All right, I'm Deanna. I started in August. I was hired to file, but I've never filed. Pretty good at my job. I do billing now. That's about it.
But we liked you. We thought you fit the culture, and we said, you know, we don't know what she's going to do, but she's going to fit.
I dodge footballs all day.
And yeah, we like to throw footballs at her all day long. She's not very good at dodging them.
I'm Megan. I started in July of this year. I do payroll. And yeah.
Megan also has something she'd like to say.
Time cards in by 8 a.m. Monday morning. Thank
So,
you.
time cards, that is a big pain in Megan's rear, is time cards. So when she doesn't get her time card, she can't do payroll, and then she ends up either staying late or not getting something else done, so she would really, 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 really appreciate it if everybody would get their time cards entered for her. Or she's gonna start getting mean, she says.
Well, I'm Rob. I came on as a recruiter in November, just before Thanksgiving. If you know anybody or you have anybody that you've come across that you want to be on the team, I guess, send me their name and contact info. Either email me or text me, call me, anytime.
So Rob's been doing a really good job trying to pull all our different business units together to find out what our needs are. What are you guys struggling with? What do you need? So sending that stuff into your general managers, whoever else in the company of, this is our resource needs, what's coming up. He's trying to forecast and help us put together some good teams to get these projects done.
I need the Sharpie from Spot, because he's BL's, and I do all things KVK. I've been here 7 months.
So what's your role?
I just do everything you tell me to do. I just do all your stuff.
That's right.
That's my role.
You can use pink.
I'm Jenny. I've been here about 1.5 years. I started September 2018, the day after your birthday. And then, let's see, my first actual job site was Target, Minneapolis, driving forklift with John.
She'd never driven a forklift before, just
I
to be
figured
clear.
it out.
Jenny started, and I was going to have her do some material things, and we ended up needing to unload, she was going to manage some inventory. And I sent her, actually, if you drove forklift or you had to go there, and I'm like, oh, can you help with crane day? She's like, what's crane day? I'm like, oh, we're going to lift stuff on the roof. She's like, what do I need? I'm like, just show up. And it was pouring rain, and she went and bought herself a rain suit into Target so that she could work. Didn't ask, oh, I need to go home. It was just bought a rain suit, went to work, and helped the guys lift stuff on the roof. And she's been here ever since. So we throw a lot of crap at her, and she takes care of it.
Robert Summers. Was it Troy that Bennett said, "I got you covered in tools"? He told me never to touch tools. Probably like that.
So Robert, he was not here the day I did yesterday when I was talking. I referenced him. He was the one waving his hands in the air at DFA, and I told him to put said hands in pocket before he killed himself.
There was a different side of that story.
Let's hear it.
I think I was having to explain how it worked.
No.
There was some other words that came out of Carl's mouth, and it was something about a dumb engineer and arms and hands and put your hands in your pocket. But I tell the story a lot different. I always say Carl saved my life that day because I was the tallest SOB pointing at the, was it 13.8, 13.6?
At 12.470.
12.4. Anyway, it's a lot up there. But Carl took care of me that day and always have. So I started ADM Mendota. But can I mark some of the other things where we've crossed paths?
Sure, absolutely.
So in 2008, what we're talking about, that's when Carl and I saw each other the first time. And I just found out from Brian Gray this morning that Bennett was on that job too. So we crossed paths way early. Maybe that's what happened. Then we crossed again, oh gosh, all the way through here. There were a bunch of years and different things. And then in 2017, is when Manny came to Texas and worked for us in Texas as well. So it was a bunch of cool things, but I'm going with blue for Mendota.
So Robert was an engineer at first DFA. And that's where we met when we did the service in Zimbrota, changing out their 15 kV service. Then he went on to Dairy Concepts, and we did some work for them in Delbo, Wisconsin, Bruce, Wisconsin. That was all for Robert. Looked at some other projects for him in Pollock, South Dakota, and Eldorado Springs, Missouri. And then he went to Eddie Packing, and we worked for him down there. So, B.G.
Brian Gray.
Closer.
Huh?
You gotta pull that mic closer to your face.
Brian Gray. No, I started December of 2013 at Land O'Lakes in Pine Island, working for an individual that doesn't work here anymore. And I kind of bounced around there doing the maintenance shop. And I also worked with Derek Klein. Got to meet him right away. First impression was he was a journeyman and he was just in a penis, but he seemed to know what he was doing. Shane claims that he trained him, so at least that's the word. No, I went from there. I guess the first time I ever met Carl, I started here through Tradesman International. And I worked for 1 week, and after that first week, Carl offered me the job. But the first day I was told that Carl likes to meet the people that are going to work for him, not just to send them to the job site. So it was myself and another, and Carl asked what we did. And I said, I do grain and this and that. And the other guy said, I do, food processing plants, this and that. And I don't know if Carl forgot who said what, but he sent me to food processing and the other guy to grain.
I could have got it wrong. I believe that was the same day I had to lend Juan my boots because he showed up with no boots at the shop. And he was a short little Juan, and he got my size 11s, and it looked like a clown. So.
Right, so I ended up at food processing, and I guess I just never left. I did some grain throughout from 2013. Yeah, go CBC Hope. There's only a few of us that actually made it through that entire project. Yeah, and the story behind Thaddeus, everybody knows Thaddeus. We thought he was a complete loser, like he was just another no-show because he got a flat tire and didn't show up when he was supposed to. He ended up turning out pretty good. Yeah, no, after that, it was at the same time of this freezer fire you hear here at Kemp's. That was January 2014, the freezer caught fire, and then I spent the next 2 months in a 20-degree below zero freezer. It's amazing I stayed here after that shit.
Here you are, still here.
So I guess I'd be brown.
Jose's next.
Josie.
Juicy?
My name is Jose. I started work in this company since 2016. My first job was in Syngenta, Northfield, and my boss was Tim Bennett, and that's it.
Come on, you got more to say about Tim than that.
My name is Mark Fick. I started here in February of 2017, so just shy of 3 years ago. I guess I originally was hired to manage the tool crib, some materials, do some maintenance, DOT inspections. Sounded easy enough, right? But I started here right in the middle of this company was on fire. And so my job quickly evolved into a lot of other things, you know, whatever was needed, some of my other abilities. So yeah, I mean, I was right in the middle of a period of really rapid growth there. And it's gone really well. We finally got getting to the point where we're kind of defining roles and things like that and responsibilities. So it's been a journey, but it's been a great journey.
Thanks, Mark.
I'm Tyler Bensick, and I started here in December of 2017, and my first job was at Dairy Concepts in Broda.
Who'd you work for there?
I worked for Brian Gray for a couple days, and then after that I started jumping around everywhere around Zebroda, Rochester.
Perfect.
Hi, I'm Isaiah Hinch. I started mowing Carl's lawn.
Again, great career path.
We went a little bit from there, been to everywhere, kind of. A lot of these places. I've been there for a little bit, a lot.
First job site you ever went to, Isaiah?
Rochester.
To Kemp's?
Yep.
First time to Rochester. Big town of Goodhue.
Yeah. I don't know, I wore a Menard shirt, my mom said it made me look older.
You had to what?
I wore a Menard shirt, my mom said it made me look older since I was maybe 15, 16 when I was doing that. But that was, driving Carl around and going everywhere. It's pretty neat. And started just sorting parts at job sites and keep getting assigned tasks and going from there, learning a lot of stuff from all these journeymans and stuff like that. It's been... there's a lot of driving stories around. We're getting better at driving though.
How many people have worked with him? Like, show of hands if you've worked with, or if he's been on one of your sites at any time.
A pretty good percentage.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's kind of...
So Isaiah's got a lot. There's a lot of history with Isaiah. He has driven me to many states. We've had a lot of interesting driving experiences together. But I know his dad pretty well, so I would send pictures of him on all these different sites to his dad. And there's a picture that we have. I don't know if we can. I sent it. Maybe did send it to that. Yeah, one with the Dora DVD where we were giving him a hard time, but he's in Kemp's with a smock and a beard net, hair net, and hard hat, and he does look about 11. We also sent him to Rochester one time to deliver some parts, or benders, whatever it was, and an hour goes by, and Rochester is not that far away, and it's in July, so no snow. And I call him, like, where are you at? And he's trying to describe where he's at, and I don't remember, you're like, I went to the roundabout, and I think I took a wrong turn. He ended up in Byron. So, not quite Rochester, but them roundabouts are tricky.
Stay on 63.
Yeah, stayed on 60, I don't know what it was, but... No, it's been pretty fun to watch Isaiah come through the company over the years, and we always threw him a lot of crap and probably all the shit jobs, and you deserved it, so you turned out pretty good, so.
Journeyman.
And he passed on his first try. I think the last one to do that was either Brandon or myself, maybe? Anybody else that passed on their first try on their test? Shane? Yeah. Dawson got it? All right. Nick? Good job, Isaiah.
Dawson Streifel, started at Kinder Morgan in 2017.
I don't know what color that is.
It's kind of its own beast.
We started at Kinder Morgan because of Yale Mechanical. who we met Yale Mechanical at Henkel. So we'll go green.
Green.
Daddy Derek. Derek just had a baby. Last week. This week.
Finally did something right.
Well, I think the best part about that story was Derek came down to Illinois with me to help. And I'm like, hey, you want to go to Illinois? Sure. When are we leaving? Tomorrow. It's usually how it goes. And we're on the way back, and we're talking about kids, and Derek's like, yeah, me and the old lady we're not going to have kids. We don't want kids. We're perfectly happy. Somewhere along that lines. And then maybe that night or the next day, he texts me a picture of a positive.
About an hour later when we got
Was it an
home.
hour later? Text me a picture of a positive pregnancy test. Well, guess your plans changed.
Carl's response back was a lot of LOLs. Derek Klein, I have been here since, well, it says 2009. I can't really remember. I had a few in and outs there for a while. Oh, you know, apparently the county wanted me to stay here and there every now and again, so.
3 hots and a cot is what he got.
Paid my way. So my first job, I think the first ever day I was down at Hearth and Homes with Shane Matthews, and I think that was the only person that's still here. And then the first actual project I worked on was with Brandon Lexvold.
At Bic or where?
At Bic, yep. And then after probably about 2 or 3 months at Bic, Brandon disappeared, and I just stayed for a while, so.
Was it fall farming time?
I believe so, yeah. Yeah, I think that's what it was, so.
Yeah, he catches that disease every year. No?
Well, maybe he moved on to another project. I don't know. All of a sudden I showed up there and I asked Carl, I said, well, is anybody else coming? No, you're it. That's where I ended up.
So Derek, just like Richard, has seen a lot of change over the years. And when you started, it was probably just that front shop. That was it. A couple, 3 vans and a pickup, and had the rope and the Allens, and we didn't have a lot of stuff. So he's definitely been with us a long time and seen a lot of things through the way. And Derek's been very instrumental in all the Procore stuff. So he's very good with Procore and coming up with the job flows and how to use punch lists. And he helps us a ton in the office, although he doesn't always like to be in the office. Like a lot of us like to be out in the field working, but he's been a huge help to getting some of this workflow stuff set up to make our job process go smoother. So
I think when I first started here, I mean, I could barely, well, I've never bent IMC or anything Rob Roy, nothing else. It was EMT, wired some commercial, did farms and stuff like that. Over the years, I mean, just learning. I give a lot of credit to Shane Matthews. If anybody that's worked with him, he teaches you a ton about automation. Brandon Lexvold, unfortunately, I have to give him some credit that I learned quite a bit of. Usually, I knew when it was lunchtime, for sure. So. I believe we always went out to eat, but then on the way home, Brandon would eat the lunch that he brought. So.
Well, you can't make the wife mad. Because if you didn't eat the lunch, you wouldn't make one the next day.
Yep. But overall, I mean, it's been an awesome experience throughout the years, just all the stuff that we've gotten into. Yeah, there was a lot of non-direction. Throw you out there, here you go, see what you can do. I used to hate these guys for it. I'm not even gonna lie, I used to cocksucker them all the time because I'd be standing there. I don't even know what I'm doing. Where is everybody? But it forced you to learn. I mean, there was always support there, and there hopefully always will be and still is. I mean, there's always somebody to call. I think it's gotten a lot better. But at the same time, had to try, right? Had to try and learn, figure it out, get a little bit more independent. So it's been awesome. Sure.
Thanks, DK. When's baby 2 on the way? You said that last time.
My name is Bryce Taganga. I started in the fall of 2013 at Interstate Mills Randolph. And yeah, I've been here ever since.
First project was wiring the second floor office.
You remember that?
I remember it. You and Criminal.
Yep, and you remember chewing me out?
Chewing you out for something. What was it?
Yeah, I didn't have my boxes at different heights so I could run them down the wall. Parallel. So, yeah. Carl's a good boss. They warned me before he showed up. I think I showed up on the day before you got there. And I was warned that Carl, the owner, was going to show up, and he was going to be a tough boss. And he was.
So Brian's been recently at USG running the big phase 1 and 2 steel projects, and for the last 2 years, pretty much taking care of that account, and almost 3 years now, all their maintenance needs and after hours needs, and he takes good care of them for us, and they give us a lot of work, so.
Keep it under an hour, Dylan.
I'm Dylan. I started in July of 14. I think the first project I did was drawings for Belchester's bin edition before Red Wing stuff. Then less than a year later, Carl decided to throw this kid who had no notable PLC experience and make him lead the job, and here we are.
Which job was that?
From.
It
was yeah.
From was the first one.
First programming, yeah. Yeah, he didn't do any. No. He said he'd help, and he showed up for an hour.
So Dylan, like a lot of people that have worked for me, we'd like to test your resolve and see how you're going to do when you get thrown to the fire. And Dylan did pretty well, right? He didn't have a lot of experience, but he always amazed me and Shane and Brandon at how much he did know and could, once he put his mind to it, he could just figure out. You know, we walked you off the ledge numerous times when you were going to jump.
I don't know if you'd say you threw me to the fire more so than throwing me into a volcano, but...
You're still here, living, breathing, smiling. So there's a few times we flew to Nebraska to do some work, and we got ourselves into a pickle down there, but Dylan usually got us out and figured it out, and sometimes it was early in the morning. He was sharing some stories last night. We went to North Dakota once. We were doing a project for Blue Flint ethanol. And it was one of those moments where you were in the middle of it, trying to get this plant to get back up and running. Wasn't the most well-laid plans we had to get the work done. And I had flown some more guys up there to help us, and it's 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, and Dylan gets up from his chair. His foot hits the cord to his computer, slams his computer on the ground, and his computer breaks. And it has the only working program we have for this facility that's supposed to run in 2 days. And he had no backups. So, yeah, that was a...
Well, I did also write that whole program that one day, so we didn't really have a chance to make backups.
Yeah.
But that was also the project we did all the engineering. You and I locked in the trailer all day too, so.
Yeah, we didn't have a formal engineering department at that time, so our drawings were usually in a field trailer, in the office trailer, by hand.
Drawn in the trailer?
Drawing it in the trailer. We had a drawing bench in there.
Yeah.
We figured it out. It worked. Plant got up and running. Dylan's still here. So you're red then, AGP.
I'm Husto Pillman, and I started, I think it was August of 2018. And I did a bunch of research and development projects initially, various different websites and ignition testing and can we do it type stuff.
So one of the stories, Husto he's a software engineer, so he does high-level systems engineering, and one of the things I like, it was a story we told in one of Pam's sessions where he said he likes to tinker with stuff and he likes to build sensors, and one of the folks in our energy group was in the office talking about an issue they were having with commissioning on these inverters for our witness testing. And I think you overheard him talking about it, or maybe they came to you and asked the question, or Barbara heard about it and brought it to him. But Husto developed a software so that we can see all of our inverters on the computer when we do our witness testing, so it makes our witness tests easier to pass. Nobody else has this, not even the inverter manufacturer has this software, and we've been getting hired by other companies now because Excel likes this software so much. So it's kind of cool to see all the resources that we have in the company that can do things like that, and we didn't even know it. So he's also working on him and Josh Irish, a matrix, basically this spreadsheet that's got all of us in there, and it lists all of our kind of knowledge. It's an online knowledge base of everybody in the company, so as we have problems or issues or we're looking for a resource, we can go to that and see, oh, this guy's got this type of PLC experience, or this person knows these types of inverters, and it's pretty cool. So It's lunchtime. Yep.
Told you.
Todd's here. Was he? Yeah, he should have been. Go ahead, Todd.
I'm Todd. 2017? Yeah. Mendota?
No, I think you started, Quincy was your first project doing lighting design.
Yeah.
You gonna tell us what you do?
Whatever you and Shane tell me to do.
That's right. That's usually Derek's comment back too when somebody asks him what he does. Whatever Carl and Shane tell me. It's a good response. So Todd was hired to do some lighting design, some business development stuff. He's been helping us manage the Prospect Foundry account. He's got a long history. He knows switchgear. He was a sales guy for a lot of years. Notorious for taking customers out for lunch and forgetting his wallet when Rich and I are with. So.
Experience.
So first project was ADM Quincy then, I would say, right? Probably?
Well, my hazing process.
Your hazing process, was that?
At Hawkins. You and Randy sent me to the electrical inspector.
Ah, yes, the little short guy. Yeah. Same inspector as CF Industries, Brian. Yeah. Forget to file a permit, the guy's not too nice. You can go on this board. You're blue, ADM. Hand the Rich to Mike. It's kind of like handing him the check.
Multitasking. I'm Rich again. Let's see, I started in September of 16. Didn't really have a first project as far as a build project goes. It was more or less getting the engineering department off the ground and kind of developing that. I remember showing up and working with Dylan and Ethan, and we had this, I don't know, it must have been 3 pages long of punch list items for all the sites that we've worked on in the past that all had to be cleaned up. So Dylan and I just spent the first 3 months, I'd say, of me being here, of just going through and just cleaning up projects, making sure all our as-built drawings were up to date, make sure all the code was documented, all that kind of good stuff. So I'd say the first full project was probably Trimont, I think. Where's Dylan at? Wherever he went to. Trimont sounds right?
Trimont sounds right. Yeah. First project, CBC Trimont?
Yeah. Yep.
So Rich and I's history goes back to about right here. This is where I met him, somewhere in here. 11.
Marshall, Winona.
Yep. So he was working for an integration firm. We were doing the electrical work and just trying to build projects for ADM. So our pain for ADM goes back a long ways.
So the fun story there is I was working for this integrator company, and probably heard, some of you guys probably heard a guy by the name of Jason Grayhack. I used to work with him at IAE is the name of the company, Industrial Automation Engineering. And Jason knew this company from working down in Lake City and various other places. And finally we started to team up on projects, or at least walk projects to bid them together. And I remember Jason and I going to a site, I forget what site it was, it might have been Marshall. And Carl came along to look at the electrical side of it. And of course, Carl's walking right with the plant manager there, and Jason and I are kind of walking in the background. We look at each other and go, that guy knows his shit. We need to work with these guys. So, because we had worked with other electrical contractors, a lot of times we got stuck with the local guys, at the plant sites, and they're just, nobody could install these systems properly, and it was always a nightmare. I could show you some horror stories. So we ended up partnering up on these projects and kicking ass. So IAE finally went sideways a little bit. It's kind of a group of about 5 different companies. 4 of them are still around. IAE kind of dissolved. So I obviously left there and came here. That's my story.
You're sticking to it again?
I'm sticking to it again.
Black. Trimont. CBC Trimont. Black. Yeah.
I'm Jeff Barber. Started out as Procore Champion. Took that software package from Jeff Olson and stood right next to Thaddeus upstairs at the pool room in my cubicle doing work. And a couple days later, Carl walks over and says, hey, do you know anything about solar labeling? I'm like, nope, not a thing. And he says, well, here's the labeler, figure out how this works. You gotta go out to P. Pfister and you're gonna make that site labeled. And I go out to the site and I'm like, what the hell am I doing up here? I walk around the site, never been on a solar site. I'm like, okay, where do all the labels go? And read all the specifications and figured it out, printed a bunch of labels out, went to site, put them all on. Half of them were wrong. And then a couple days later, I'm out there from probably 9 a.m. until about 1:30. And Isaiah and I came back from the site and we got to Taco Bell, and it was actually just 2 a.m. Suddenly they were closed, so we had McDonald's, and that was the job. That was the first project I worked on outside of being in the shop. And I really love the latitude Carl gave me with doing solar labeling, because he was like, here, this is your baby, just take care of it. So, and I appreciate that.
You bet. Thanks, Jeff.
Hi, everybody. I'm Heath Conley. I started, I believe, in the spring of 17 at Effingham ADM. Right?
And then went on to do underground at about three other
Went
sites.
and did the underground in Mendota, and then did Quincy from start to now. Still going. And worked exclusively pretty much with Thaddeus, has been my project manager.
We're almost going to have to get him a 3-year cake here pretty soon for a project.
3 years.
It's not quite as bad as Grandpa's garage, but it's getting there.
I think 3 years in March. And that's my story. I'm all blue. I'm right there.
Blue. Thanks, Heath.
Wayne Musselman. I started in July of this year. And somehow I didn't quite back up quick enough when they were looking for volunteers. And I've been in Prospect, working in and out of Prospect ever since. So that's my first job, and I'm still on it.
Thanks, Wayne. And he loves Prospect. Privileged to work at Prospect.
I'm privileged
to work at Prospect. So, for those who don't know, Prospect is a foundry, steel foundry. It's definitely a dirty place, and they had a fire. That was another job where, again, it's all based on a relationship. So the facility manager or maintenance manager that was at Hearth and Home for a lot of years, who we had a good relationship with, left to be closer to home, took a job at Prospect. He called us maybe 2 months after being there and was like, the guys we got here suck. You need to come work for us. And I don't know who went there first, if it was Todd or me, or if Jake just went on a call there. And the place is something else. There's stuff there you're like, wow, how does this still operate and people not die, right? I mean, there's open, it's a nightmare. And so they're slowly getting better, and we're trying to help them with that stuff, but they had a big fire at the plant and it shut the whole facility down, and it really gave them the opportunity to improve a lot of their processes, and we're doing some automation work now for them, updating a bunch of their equipment, so appreciate everybody's work there. So, Nathan?
Be respectful and listen. My name is Nathan Riddell. I've been here since May of 2014, and I got to ask you all a question. I need a show of hands. How many of you actually know we do residential and commercial work here? Oh, more than I thought. Great. So yeah, we'll need a whole nother whiteboard to show you, because I actually don't fit into anywhere on here. The first day I was here, got to meet Incredible, Big Richard over there. Show up to a Steve Bauer project in Hastings, guy that owns half of Cannon Falls. Walk up the stairs, go meet Richard at a remodel, and gives me a firm handshake. Hey, what's going on? How you doing? What's your name? Holy crap, this is what I gotta deal with? Are you kidding me? This is gonna be exciting. And it has been very exciting. I started as a 4th-year apprentice, and Carl's really put a lot of trust in me to just kind of accelerate. And his dad had retired here a couple years back, and they were in need to keep the service industry of the residential commercial side going. So, like he said before, just here you go. Here's a bunch of stuff. How can you handle it? Take it away. See what you can do. Well, it's happened, and it's been great. It's been awesome. So, working with 50-mile radius of here, maybe even up in the cities a little bit here and there. Just meet new customers and keep the commercial and residential side going in the service industry. So it's been great.
Nathan came to us liking to do residential work, which we didn't do a lot of, but we still have a lot of customers that they're customers that want us to do their residential and service work and new homes, and he's really helped kind of grow that business and pick up new home builders and kind of get that business going again for us. He's also been doing a bunch of light commercial work and bidding on projects for, he did an event center in Cannon Falls, and we've been doing some assisted living stuff up in the cities, and so yeah, been kind of taking over that. So anybody that's got interest in doing that type of work or know anybody that's interested in doing residential work and commercial work. DK? You're interested? Okay. Here you go. Talk to Nathan afterwards.
You can sign that right here.
Yeah.
I'm Joel Onstead. I was hired in October 2016. I don't remember. I kind of bounced around at first a lot, but I think what really stuck was working with Brian Gray at Kemp's. He stuck me in the freezer for like a month or something there.
So Kemp's, we'll go with Kemp's.
Yeah, I think Kemp's.
All right.
Yeah, I'm Tim Bennet. I've been here since, I think, June 2015. I think it was June or July. But my first project here, I think, was in Lake City I don't know what it was, but I've been all over the place. So really enjoyed this place. Meet some interesting people. But I started here with Gruss. I think I was here through a staffing company. None of this stuff was here. One shop up front. It's really grown up a lot in the last few years.
So me and Tim have we've been a lot of places and done a lot of projects together. He's he's an interesting man. He's a seasoned electrician. He likes to say he's not old. He's seasoned. So he's started in Lake City and then went to Sweet Harvest and ran that Syngenta, went to Fostoria to do a grain bin, and then did our Manly, New Heaven Chemicals project in Manly, Iowa, which was very interesting. I don't know how many of you were a part of that project, probably not a lot, but we did a sodium methylate plant for an Indian company down in Iowa, and everything they had was from India. They didn't bolt structural steel together, they welded structural steel together. And they couldn't speak very good English, and through the winter.
You had to learn this right here.
No, Mr. Tim. You heard that a lot. So then he went on from there, and we did Syngenta, and worked at ADM Red Wing, and then the most recent project, Tim was our superintendent down on the Mendota flour mill. So that for us, we talked about that yesterday, was a huge project for us, biggest project we ever done. Took a ton of our resources and leadership, and Tim was able to take his group of guys and our guys down there, and that was a challenging project. It was an aggressive schedule. It was 3 months behind schedule. It was a lot of on-the-fly stuff. It was coordination constantly with Tim and Andy and Iman, and but we got it done, and it was a pretty cool project to be a part of. So you're going red, Egg Partners? Mike? Unless you got something else you want to say? No. Nothing? Okay.
I'll be nice. A little tired today. I'm Dan Pauly. I started October 2018, got the panel shop back up and running. And I think when I started, we had 3 or 4 projects stacked there waiting. I think it was ADM Quincy rework was the first panels I worked on for you.
So blue, Quincy. Or Control. Yeah, that was Henkel. I think we'll go blue because it was... Yep.
Hi, I'm Mike Davidson. I'm also in the panel shop with Dan, and I started in September of this year, and I think the only project I've actually been out on is Prospect.
Prospect started from purple, so we'll go purple.
Jim Parrish. I started in October this year for solar O&M, and I've actually been cyber stalking Knobelsdorff for probably 4 years. Back when I was with another company on the Aurora projects, we were missing some medium voltage wire. I don't even know if you remember. needed some, and somebody called down here, and we actually were able to get it from you guys. We paid enough for it, but we needed it. So anyway, and now in October I was finally able to come on board.
Hi, I'm Patrick Casey. I was hired on as a safety manager in May of 18, and that timeline we were just kind of wrapping up with Effingham, Enderlin, so I was out there for a little while, and then we jumped into Mendota, and then I think it was MW with Frontenac and a couple of our bigger solar sites. So yeah, that was my first day of work. It was kind of interesting. Mel, you might not remember this, but I was about 2 hours late because the school bus crashed out on 9 there, so thought I was probably going to get fired before I even started because I was late my first day.
So Pat was another addition to the team where it was a new role that we've never had. So safety for us was always a part-time job for about 5 people, right? And it finally got to the point where we couldn't do that part-time job anymore and it needed to be a full-time person. And we're getting a lot better at predicting and seeing that stuff coming than we used to be and adding those roles so it can free up people's time. And he's been a great addition to us and helping that safety culture keep going. And when we have issues, helping you guys take care of them, or if you have questions on things, he's a great resource for us to reach out to. So,
thank you.
I'm Chris McCormick. I work in estimating and pre-construction. I think most everybody knows Randy Boss. That's where I spend most of my day, working with Randy. But came on board August of this year, and I've got probably 20 plus years in construction, and I look forward to putting it to use here.
Thanks, Chris.
Got everybody? Is there anybody at your table that didn't come out? Just point at them. Anybody at your table that didn't come up yet? Oh, haha, Matt, get up here. Oh, no, he was up there. You're good. I remember now, 2001, the Brandon line. Get up here. Brandon, Shane? Oh, yeah, best for last. Come on.
Aaron, I started in October of 19. That'd be this year, 3 months ago. And just helping out on the solar stuff in the office. So, microphone, yes.
Okay, Brandon Wexfold. I started in May 27th, 2003. So that's over here. Do your calculations, right? And I've almost been to everyone on here, I think. Not Harrison. And I haven't been to Colorado yet, but damn near everyone on that board.
So Brandon, Shane, and I all kind of started working together, back in that 2003, 4, 5, and we've, definitely come a long way from the one, 3 of us used to work on the same jobs, and we could almost communicate. We've worked so long together without talking to each other. You just knew what the other guy wanted without asking, and we don't get to work with each other in the field much anymore, but it's mainly in the office, but still have a lot of fun at what we do. And those two have probably been through the most shit with me and stuff with me and been thrown, as all of you have, out to the wolves. They've probably seen the worst of it.
I'll look at Shane and I said, really? We're going to do that? I don't know. That's what Carl says. We're going to do it. How the fuck are we going to do that? We've all had that moment. I know that. No, but it's been fun. It's everything that we said we couldn't do, we did. So.
Right. We always come up with a way to do it. Brandon and I have done a ton of outage work together, and that's usually where we get into the biggest pickles of how in the heck are we ever going to get this done, right? And fit the 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound box.
A lot of people, we don't want to do that. You can't do it. Well, we'll find a way to do it. Sometimes it sucks, but we find a way to do it, and the customer's happy when we're done. And now we say, well, shit, we did that. Yeah, okay, I got an example. Mendota, right? 35K wire. It was probably on a Tuesday. Do you think we can go down there and pull that wire in? So I don't know. How far is it? Oh, like 1,500 and 900. Not that big a deal. how big are the wire spools? 8 feet. That doesn't sound that bad. But we get there, the wire spools are 8 feet tall, 7,000 pounds, and we got to pull 1,960 feet. So we added 500 feet to this little run that we had to pull in quick. But we pulled it in. Took us 2 days, Tim? I suppose it took us 2 days.
And it was 102 degrees.
It was about 100 degrees. You look into the sky, not a freaking cloud in the sky. And you're in the middle of a field. But we pulled that in. Now I can say I've pulled 1,960 feet. I mean, I've never seen the tugger pull 50 feet of rope and the wire never moved at the other end. I mean, it just stretched.
I think we all hated each other too after the second day.
And it wasn't like it was small cable. I don't know if there's a piece of it here. No, that's
a little bit too big. It's almost
it's close to that. That's cable. That's the size that the cable was, and there was 3 of those that's not conduit, that's a cable. Yeah. Only 1,900 feet though. They got it done.
So now I say we can do it. I mean, now I see 1,000 feet. Well, that's nothing now. He couldn't even see past the spindle on the spool. No, that's about all I got. I'll let Shane talk. If you see me and Shane bickering with each other, that's just because we worked together for so long.
They're kind of like brothers.
Yeah, or married.
Or a married couple.
Shane Mattis, been here since '96. First job, I believe, was wiring houses with Jurgen, Carl's dad. So, yeah, it's been a fun many years.
So I apprenticed for Shane, worked for him, and learned from him. And Shane doesn't really want to yell, but he'd let you know if you did it wrong. What's that? I don't know if I've ever heard Shane yell, actually. Anybody here heard Shane yell? I've seen his... Todd and Isaiah. Well, you two deserved it.
Expect anything less with you two?
If that tells you anything, those two, yeah.
If you see him take his hat off and kind of go like that, that's the sign.
That's Shane yelling right there.
If it comes off, it's not good either.
That's it? That's all you got? I had something else, but I lost it. Oh, I know what it was. So everybody that was involved in our Colorado wire pull debacle, stand up. Tim, Robert, he's already standing. Jordan, Josh, Tyler.
Just raise your hand.
Most of you are here. A few of the guys are still on the road trying to come back. They got stuck in a snowstorm. So just thank you from all of us, and thank you from Ardent for stepping up and knocking that out. That was a feat in itself, and just goes to show, again, you kind of got thrown into it. We planned out the best we could and sent you guys out there, and you knocked that out for the customer, and that is definitely appreciated. So. All right, everybody that wasn't here on Tuesday when we did this, now you get to come on stage. So I'm on Josh, Rohan, Randy, Terry, Josh, Jake. That's loud.
Chip, here you go. Use the mic. Eat the mic. Eat the mic.
Jake,
here.
Josh will show you how that's done if you need help.
Yeah, I'm really good at eating the mic, but I also don't usually need a mic, so there's that. I've been here since September, and I think I fall under KE admin because I started at Kinder Morgan, which we don't have up here. So,
it's on.
Is it?
It's on.
Where is it?
Kinder Morgan started because of ankles, so you're going to be green.
Oh, I'm green. Okay. Am I
So right
okay?
And then the first job that you started at.
Okay.
Pass the mic.
You got to pass the mic too. I'm on.
He just wants it.
He just wants to hold it.
I think I started here for...
Wait, what's your name?
My name is Iman.
What do you do here, Iman?
Nice to meet you, everybody. My position position here is an electrical engineer. I do one lines and power distribution. I work with mostly AutoCAD, and recently I've been venturing into creating a pipe schedule, which was kind of fun. I learned from these two, so they're shitty.
You're gonna get your first fuck off. It's an endearing term. Yeah. She's learned.
Yeah, it's a language of love.
Language
but,
of love.
Yeah, I started here about 2.5 years ago, and my first job was ADM Quincy. And I think I kind of looked at ADM Effingham jobs a lot to kind of see and learn how we did our stuff there, to kind of start doing the same kind of thing in Quincy. And then after Quincy was Mendota, and everything there was entirely different. And now I'm working at Harrison and Bay State, and in the meanwhile I had little jobs at DSI, had a little job at Ardent Mills in Colorado, so over the place, but I think my true color of my name is blue. Woo!
So my story is kind of funny, and we talked about how we get our start in the company and how we hire people and how it's about culture, and it's not really about what you know, right? We don't hire people based on what they know. We hire them because who they are and what we feel they bring and how they fit our core values. And when Imon came to us, at first she thought she was lost. She didn't know how to get here, and her husband drove her down here, and he's like, are you sure? Are you sure you want to come all the way down here? Is this really where you want to go, right? You're like, there's cows and dirt roads. She's like, yeah, I think this is right. And she comes upstairs, and at the time, it was when where the pool tables were, we still had all the cubicles packed in there, and maybe one table. And she came and sat down for the interview, and she talked to us, and you're originally from Kazakhstan, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So, and she's talking to us, she had zero experience doing electrical engineering, correct? Zero. She was working in Siberia in the oil fields as a structural engineer?
No, as a field engineer.
As a field engineer, so as an FE. And I'm like, geez, I don't know. She doesn't really have any experience, and Dad's like, I fucking love her. She's great. I think she's gonna fit perfect, just her personality. I think she's a fit. So we talked about it, and we ended up hiring her, and look how we turned out. Above average. So it really just continues to show all the different people we talk about and introduce. So it is so much more important that you fit the culture and the team and the values than it is what you know. We can teach all of the technical things, right? That's why we have KU University and all these other things that we're doing to teach our skills and what we do. But you can't teach passion. You can't teach people that care, right? And it's so important to have people that believe the same things that we believe. So. You're good.
Hey everyone, my name is Ethan, and I'm a panel designer, controls designer. Pretty much all the drawings you have of panels is something I've worked on. So I started here in February of 2014, and I honestly don't remember what I started on.
You don't remember?
No. I don't remember my first job.
What did it look like here when you started in 2014? That was 5 years ago. So you're a senior person.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm starting to feel a little old, Carl.
Yeah.
Well, I think there were 6 people in the cubes upstairs, and there were people in the office in the mid-level, and then you had your office, and Jeff had his office, and that was it.
That was it.
And it looked quite a bit different. This addition was not here when I started. This back area wasn't here at all. You guys started building that. That was quite a journey after we got it all over once.
Yeah. So they put this building up, they framed it, and then a windstorm came through and blew it down. So then they got to build it again. So.
Fun times.
Okay, 2014. I would guarantee you would have started that.
It was either fall over or it would have been CBC hole.
Yeah. We'll go forward. You can be green.
I can be green. Sounds good to me.
Hey, I'm Ron. I graduated. Huh?
I have you.
Yep. I graduated from Iowa State about a year ago, and I've been here pretty much ever since. I'm working as an electrical engineer, and I also do some project management. And my first project would be ADM Quincy, probably, but mainly I'd say the building one.
Blue either way.
Blue.
So Rohan's one of the kind of except he has a college degree, unlike me. But I'm all about surrounding myself with smart people. So.
Hello everyone, I am Terry Schultz. I'm an electrician at Marshall ADM right now. Kind of have two different starts. My first start would have been November of 2016 up in Osakis in the solar field. And then August of 17, I started again and I was at ADM interview. Yeah.
So official start is red, silver. That's how you know. Yep. You gotta write your name too. Red. Carrie.
All right, I'm Carrie. I've been here actually a year today. I do the scheduling, punch list, I came from Dairy Concepts.
One. There's always one. So just like you gave Megan a round of applause because she gets you paid, Carrie gets you where you're going. So Carrie does all of our scheduling. If anybody that ever complains about a schedule, I invite you to come help try and make that said schedule because it is a pain in the ass. It was probably the bane of my existence from 2014 through 2018 into almost 19 when she started helping me with it, and now a lot of that falls on Shane and everybody else who's in that scheduling meeting trying to help us put it together. Our schedules are dynamic. Things change. People expect everything right now. The internet's ruining the world with that, right? And our cell phones, because it's instant gratification. Everybody wants to know everything right now, right away, and our customers are the same way. So it takes some pushing sometimes to get them to back off a little bit and learn that they have to wait. Carrie's been a huge help, great at the company, so thank you. Orange. She's orange for admin. Kind of falls, touches all the customers. Hi, Josh.
Just like Josh.
Yeah, not literally, though.
Oh,
Carrie, figuratively, Josh, literally.
Josh Moffett. Got here in 2014, then I started with DCI Balboa, Dairy Concepts.
Okay, you can't get down yet. So Josh is a veteran, so any other veterans in our company, please stand up. Woo! Let's give him a round of applause. So I'm a big believer in giving back and taking care of those who take care of us, and between Josh and Dan and Pat and Nick and everybody else here that's a veteran. I know Rich. He's on the phone. He's watching us in the camera. So just thank you to all of you for what you've done for our country. And Mr. Bennett. For just being you. Yeah, absolutely. So Dairy Concepts, first job. So Josh met Jake at Henkel. Josh was working at Henkel, and Jake saw something in Josh. None of the rest of us did, but Jake saw something in Josh. Yeah, we're still looking for it. And he's like, I think this guy's going to be all right. I think he could be okay. And he was working for a customer of ours, so we reached out to the customer and said, hey, we got a guy who's interested in coming to work for us. Would you be okay with that, right? So we're not just going to steal people from our customers. And they said, yeah, we love seeing people grow and find new opportunities. So he came to work for us, and yeah, you're still here. So you're doing something right.
There's not.
I'm Jake Couch. I got here in 2014 from RTS.
RTS is kind of a brown color.
I don't see any RTSs up here.
You're the only one. Well, it kind of falls into RTS started because of Interstate Mills, so it's kind of a blue. You go with it.
Blue works.
I'm Jake Pash. I think my first start date was in June of 2015, which was from Foods. Yep. So
So Jake, you remember the first trip out the front? Yeah, shit. You didn't, yeah, that is correct. So Jake got the nickname of Trigger when we were out at front. So we brought him out there, we were doing some underground to a new feed mill. And we were cutting pipe and Jake, doing temporary service, is that what we were doing? Jake had a sawzall. And Jake hadn't used a lot of tools in his life, so he was unsure how to use the sawzall. Maybe he used a hacksaw for it, right?
This is not a true story.
This is a true story. So hacksaw, you gotta go like this, right? With a sawzall, you generally just pull the trigger. Well, he was unsure of what that was, so he was going like this with the sawzall. So he's got the nickname Trigger. I don't know if anybody still calls him that, but that's pull the trigger, buddy. That's you got the tools, and you're gonna do your job. So you're going from, so you're green. You're on the Mccormick track. That's close enough. Thanks, Trigger.
I'm Randy Akers. Started in October 16. I reached out to myself. I worked for the utility in Lake City and did a lot of, we call it high voltage, they call it medium voltage there. I was up in Norwood, Young America. Was the first site. Yeah.
Solar.
Needed some help getting caught up, so I loaded up my personal rig with some tools and went up and knocked out the transformers and grounding transformers for you. And met a couple guys up there that were a big job. Yeah, so solar was my first taste of solar. I did a lot of utility work. I worked on a lot of medium voltage or high voltage on wind towers for another contractor. And that's how I got my start here with solar when Carl reached out. And then I looked at retiring from the utility after 38 years. Watched that retirement work because it's a trip. And I came here as...
This is like retirement. It's relaxing, it's calm, you're on good people.
It is all that. It is all that. So it was a good move on my part, but I enjoyed being here. I'm working with everybody and I'm here to help anybody I can.
Thank you, Randy. So you're a red. Solar red. Just do it. I was going to get him a stool, so everybody could see. You think so? You look good today, Bill. Good. Bill decided to start the new year out with a new shirt, new pants. Take it pretty good. Yes, he will. But this also fit in mine. Is that circle guy? Circle guy. Bill likes to eat shapes. Circles, triangles, squares.
What he's got in his hand.
That's a circle, isn't it? All right, where did you start, Bill?
I started back in Hope.
2014?
2014, I started.
What do you do now? That's a good question.
I am a jack of all, master of none. I came here with a background of millwright, machining, and heavy construction. I was originally hired as a heavy equipment operator. I managed the tool group for 2 years, and Mark took over my position once we got bigger because I was out in the field more doing underground between solar and industrial. And I've just kind of been there ever since.
So Bill came and started in the shop managing vehicles and tools, and like anything we found other value in what he could do, and that's where we sent him. So he got hired to do one job and now he's doing a different job. And we ended up having, so he'd be in the shop and be like, oh, he can run equipment, he can do this and he can do that. So then we'd send him to do that, and then there was nobody here to manage all of that stuff. So that just sat. The shop was a mess, and that's what I do on the weekends is bring the kids out, we clean the shop and put stuff away.
And if you didn't pick up your mess, your father picked it up for you. And he would usually leave you a note.
And then he'd leave me a note about the shit mess that you left. All right, forging and black. Bill. Black Bill. Andrew?
Andrew Landmark, started here in June, I think, yeah, for the Nautilus project, doing underground. Yeah, I didn't know if I was going to get hired. I think I called for like a month trying to get an interview, and then I just came in with my, what do you call that, resume? I handed it to them, and the next day they called me for an interview, so I was pretty excited.
If you're trying one thing and it doesn't work, don't just keep trying that. Try something different, right? That's how you get there. All right, thank you, Andrew. Come on, Randy. Good try. Pancakes are done getting cooked. Can you turn on that happy song that you played for Tiffany? More Randy. I can read your eyes.
Randy Boss, lunch 2 bits.
So Randy just got back from a great fishing trip where he learned that he should have been working instead of fishing because he caught the fish. Yeah.
Use your microphone, boys.
Yeah.
When we caught fish, we just had to leave because the water was coming up. And that fish that coming into the house and went on.
So Randy's really good with talking with his eyes. If anybody just saw that, he just said, "I love you, Jen. Thanks for your feedback." Close. Is that close? So Randy, go ahead. You're going to talk. I'm done.
I started in May of 17, I think. But I have no idea what project that was.
I don't remember what's the first bid that you did, but I remember you sat around the table. We had a big table outside of my office, and we had myself and Shane, Brandon, I think, talk to you. And you left, and you're like, yeah, I think he's going to fit in. Fuck, were we wrong?
It's been a big regret.
So Randy was living in Faribault, and it was just one of them. I mean, it's been a good fit. We don't know how we went so long with not knowing you, because since you've been here, it's been pretty good. You know? Always a little bumpy, like everything. But no, Randy does estimating for us, so he's our senior estimator, does all of our takeoffs, and has been huge in getting us cost codes and helping streamline some of our processes, and helping on our front end pre-construction, and making things, once it gets to the field, that we actually have a plan, and we're not just handing you a pile of crap to try and build something from. So it's getting better, slowly but surely, and been a good addition to the team. So. And you've noticed maybe if you come upstairs, there's those little pictograms hanging at one of the offices that have your facial expressions that tell you your emotions. We like to pick on Randy because he doesn't like to communicate with us sometimes. This is happy, this is sad, this is, so it's got the little charts on it. How are you feeling today, Randy?
Yep.
Thanks, buddy.